Welcome to another episode of Boom or Bust, the draft show. Max Chadwick, PJ Clark, Nick Merriam, and of course, Tate Sigworth. Another scouting report for you guys. We haven't done one in a while. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Jamar Chase. We did all of them, even a QB4 video. We haven't even covered the best prospect overall in this draft, probably. Oregon offensive tackle Penei Sewell, who recently opted out and declared for the draft. We're going to go over his strengths, his weaknesses, if we can even find any, player comps, where he ranks for us, and whether or not he's a generational talent. Of course, be sure to follow our Twitter at BoomerBustDraft and Reddit at BoomerBustDraft Show. I won't even go through all of this. It's all in the link, in all the links down below. Check us out everywhere, basically. We're all over the place. Let's go over Penei Sewell, guys. The background on him. 6'6", 330 pounds, former 4-star recruit. They messed up with that one. This guy is a 6-star recruit, if you know what he is now. 57 overall, number 2 offensive guard in the country. Wasn't even a tackle listed. Offensive guard, freshman All-American in 2018. Highest graded true freshman tackle PFF has ever had at 84 overall. 7th highest graded tackle in the nation as a true freshman. Absolutely dominant as a sophomore. He won the Outland Trophy, which is given to the nation's best lineman, offensive or defensive. He was the first sophomore ever to win the award, and he had a PFF grade of 95.5 as a sophomore. Pretty good.
Not bad.
Pretty good. The highest grade they've ever given an offensive lineman, 95.3. Run blocking grade, which was highest in the country, and a pass blocking grade of 91.1, which was third best in the country. So, PJ, let's start with you. There's a lot to love, man, but what do you love about Penei Sewell?
You didn't even mention my biggest pro, and I know Tate's going to get on me for this, but he is not even 20 years old yet. He's turning 20 this week, actually. He is still 19.
Can't drink.
Which is just ridiculous. Can't even drink, and this kid is the best player in this draft class. And this is some background research. Was born in America's Samoa, moved to the United States at age 12, and only then started playing football. So he's been playing football for 8 years, and he's like the best player ever, which is just wild. And then you look at him on the field. I mean, Oregon got him into space. He's quick. He moves. He's fluid. Oregon ran screens off him. He mauls people. I know I said this in our entire draft preview, 2021 draft preview. Max will put the card in up there. 58. Great number, 2 knee brace guy. I mean, he's got the look.
He looks it.
I'm all in.
He
looks the part. He plays the part.
Looks good in shorts.
Still looks good in shorts. Josh Allen, draftjoshallen.com. Whole big thing. He's a child, and he's the best player in this draft.
And he's the right age, because that's all that PJ cares about.
Geriatric Joe Burrow. Get him out of my face.
There's a lot of things to like about Penei Sewell. PJ mentioned it. Watch this guy in space on these screens or on these pull plays. I mean, it's terrifying that a dude who's 6'6", 330 moves like a tight end. He just moves so swiftly, and then he just trucks dudes, just absolutely levels guys. Folks, you don't need to know anything about offensive line technique or anything like that. Just go to YouTube, look him up, and watch him play, because it's unreal. He just sticks out.
Yeah, he just doesn't have bad plays. Like, there's never like a time where you're like, oh, that was Sewell's fault. I haven't seen his penalty numbers. He probably doesn't have many of those. There's just a really hard time finding things that he's not good at. 2 things that stood out to me that I really like to see in line plays: when he does lose his guy, he finds ways to get in the way of dudes without holding, whether it's like backing into them, like boxing them out in basketball, or like he just getting an arm to like knock them away from the QB to give his quarterback more time. And the other thing is, like, when they teach these guys how to block, not just O-linemen, they tell them to get under and tight, kind of like when you're tackling, and get the shoulder pads and like grab underneath. His arms are so long that he just doesn't have to do that. He can just go over you and grab you and just be like, all right, cool. And it just works. Like, he's just going to be good immediately in the NFL, and there's nothing you can do about it because he has the physical tools. His technique is completely sound, and it's just like, all right, no, just plug him in.
I thought all 3 of us were like, yeah, like, I mean, he's just amazing. Like, that's basically it. Like, what's there not to love about Penei Sewell? Tate, you mentioned it, man. He's a freak athlete. He's 330 pounds, and he looks like he's 250. Like, he looks like a tight end when he's out in space out there, like you mentioned. He's a nightmare for defensive backs, man. If I'm a corner and I see him coming out in space,
he's coming downhill. Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm going to be pooping my pants, basically. He makes more pancakes than a popular diner on a Saturday morning, man. I mean, he is unbelievable. unbelievable. Probably the best run blocker I've ever seen. He creates holes, size, strength, explosiveness. Elite pass protector too. Tate, don't laugh at that. I spent a lot of time.
Sorry, I'm picking up the eyes that just rolled out the back of my head. Sorry about that.
I was very proud of that joke. Don't you dare make fun of that. Elite pass protector too. 491 pass blocking snaps. Only allowed 7 pressures. Also, PJ, you just mentioned it, man. Unbelievably young. I mean, he was a true freshman at 17.
He's a child.
He was 17.
He's younger than me.
He's younger than Nick.
Start week 1 of the NFL at 20 years old. That's ridiculous.
Drink. As a rookie, he won't be able to drink. That is unbelievable. I mean, this guy, like you just mentioned, he's got 20 years probably in the NFL of being an elite pass protector. It's unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable. Tate, what if, and this is the hardest question, I think, what if anything, man, what are the negatives, if anything, you can find on Tate for Penei Sewell?
I'm just going to start off by prefacing for the viewer, everything that we talk about in this next part, all 4 of us, it's all nitpicking. Okay, these are all very small little things that all of us are going to be nitpicking. I mean, let's face it, he allowed 7 pressures of 491 passes, no more than 2 per game. Like, that's crazy.
Some would say 7 too high. Some would say 7 too many. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's UDFA. 7 pressures, I mean, he's horrible. My only little nitpick thing is just sometimes versus power rushers in a pass set, he gets a little, like, that's his weakness, is a power rusher. He's fine, totally fine versus speed rushers, but, like, that's it. And it's just so marginal that I'm not even going to waste that much time talking about this.
Mine's just as dumb. I don't think he's mean. Which, like, if you're drafting an offensive tackle, like, Mekhi Becton is mean, and he blocks mean. I would like to see Penei Sewell finish a little bit harder. That's it.
Oh, he's got some pancakes.
I know he does.
Wow.
But Mekhi Becton would just, like, flatten people. I don't know. I would like to see a little mean streak going. I think he's got it in him. I don't care.
Yeah, I couldn't really come up with anything other than, maybe his vertical speed, which doesn't really matter for tackles, isn't like he's great diagonally and laterally. Like, that's what matters though. So I don't like he's not going to be running straight very often. So I don't know if that matters. There's times where like Tate said, with power rushers, where he's like loaded and then he'll get pushed back and his back will get like kind of caving in. And that's like, if you're doing it, like, it's fine, but what that can do is it can take years off your game because you don't want to be blocking guys with your back muscles instead of your butt. So it's just, there's really not that much though. Like, he's pretty much pristine as far as that goes.
Yeah. Tate, you mentioned, I mean, you're nitpicking if you're pointing out any major weakness or anything. It's kind of the same problem with Justin Herbert, but the Oregon offense really kind of limited him. They ran a ton of screens, which of course created awesome highlights where he's getting out in space, which is probably his biggest strength. But also, like, that also means he's not, facing edge rushers that much on true pass sets. So you could maybe say about that. And also, it's in the Pac-12. They're not facing many top-tier pass rushers like in the SEC or Big Ten. A lot like Jamar Chase, I would murder people to get Kayvon Thibodeau, who's a guy in 2022 to watch, the edge rusher at Oregon. I would kill for practice footage of Thibodeau versus Penei Sewell, just like I'd kill for Jamar Chase versus Derek Stingley. Like, I would do so many awful things to get practice footage like that. And you guys mentioned before, like, sometimes the power rushes. I remember watching in the Auburn game, Marlon Davidson got through him a couple times, but it wasn't anything to, like, really write home about. So sometimes susceptible to power rushes, but very rarely. Nick, give me the bottom line on Penei Sewell. So where does he rank for you on your personal draft board? Do you have a player comp for him? And do you think he's a generational talent?
I'm not certain that it's not just Trent Williams playing for Oregon, actually. It might just be him playing for Oregon. He's by far my number 1 tackle in this draft class. It's a good tackle class, but there's still a big distance between him and the next guy. Number 3 overall on my board, just behind Lawrence and Fields. He looks the part. He's very good. He's got the movement like Trent Williams. His body type looks like Trent Williams. In terms of the generational thing, like, the definition of generational is like whenever something like cycles in and out. So I guess like the life cycle of a good tackle in the NFL is like 18 years. Trent Williams is the last like big time prospect at tackle, and that was 12 years ago. So it's kind of but like realistically, yes, he's the next, like, this guy's a top 5 pick at tackle. So yes, but I hate that word, but we'll just go with it.
Everybody knows my generational thoughts, but yeah, I think he has to be, right? He is a class above anybody. He's a class above all four of the guys from last year. Hell, he may be 2 classes above all four of the guys from last year. And this, as Nick
And last
said,
year was
really,
good, dude.
Yeah, right? Last year, great tackle class. This year, great tackle class. I love a lot of tackles here. I have Walker Little in my top 10, Stanford's tackle. I have Sewell at number 2. Hell, he may be number 1 come April over Lawrence. I mean, he's that good. But the distance between Sewell and Walker Little is like, it's not even, it is an entire skyscraper. It's the Empire State Building between those two. And it's like, player comp, I don't know. I expect him to run a really fast 40. Teron Armstead ran the fastest 40 for a offensive lineman. He's pretty good. Sewell's better than him, but I'll just throw out Teron Armstead. That's my guy.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't have an exact comp just because he is such an athletic freak of someone that 330 that moves at his size. But we're talking about like Joe Thomas level talent. Okay. Like that's kind of what I'm bringing here. Not an exact comp, but we're talking about someone who is going to like probably be a Hall of Famer. We're talking Joe Thomas level. So it's pretty serious.
Oh, we're turning
he's
to Max now.
Lock
Hall of
for
Famer
top 5.
before.
I was just,
Right,
I literally
great.
took the words out of my mouth.
Great, cool. Turning to Max.
Oh, sorry.
Sick.
Right. I forgot we don't like to do that. Sorry. Then I'm also going to do generational talent, Hall of Famer. I'll just keep rolling with it and just throw out all of the things onto this guy. But he's the real deal. And I'm sorry. You can't even have a legal beer yet, and I'm telling you, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. But that's just, that's just what it is. I'm calling it how it is.
No pressure, kid. Yeah, look, he's currently number 3 on my board too, behind Lawrence and Fields, like Nick. That's only because I think it's the same with Nick. Positional value, like we take that into account. And Nick, I mean, if you're going just purely like best overall prospects, like it's not even a question.
No.
And I love Lawrence, and like it's not even a question. Like Penei Sewell is the best football player in this draft. My player comp for him a long time ago, Tate's guy, Orlando Pace out of The Ohio State, man. I was watching his highlights trying to find a player comp. Athleticism, the size, the strength. We haven't seen it in a long time. I know we talk about generational talents a ton, but he's it, man. I mean, he's the best. I'm going to say this, and you guys might flame me for saying it. He's the best prospect I've ever seen at any position.
See, like that, like I hate you for saying that, but I can't disagree is my thing.
Yeah.
Like I hate when people say that, but I actually don't have an argument against you.
I do, but you guys are going to hate my argument. But
who is it? I mean, I actually want to hear it.
Saquon, but...
Yeah, Saquon. No, I put him in there. I put the guys Quentin Nelson, Chase Young, Saquon Barkley, Andrew Luck, and also Trevor Lawrence too, because I think Lawrence might be better than Luck. I've never seen a prospect as good as Sewell, and of course, we're all like 21 years old, like so we haven't really been following the draft since like the Cam Newton draft in 2011. But look, Sewell, like I said about Quentin Nelson when he came out, Saquon too, and Chase Young, they're future Hall of Famers in my opinion. And that's coming out of college. Like these are awesome prospects. And like I said before, probably the best tackle since Orlando Pace, which was in 1997, so 24 years ago. Like that's a generation.
That is older than we are.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a long time.
So that's all we've got on Oregon offensive tackle Penei Sewell. Probably the best overall football player in this draft, regardless of position. So he's awesome to watch. If you haven't watched him yet, check him out because usually offensive linemen,
it's worth it. Yeah,
offensive linemen aren't fun to watch. Too. Yeah, offensive linemen usually aren't fun to watch. Quentin Nelson and Penei Sewell, they're so much fun to watch. And Mekhi Becton's highlights too, also a lot of fun to watch. But follow us on Twitter at Boom or Bust Draft, and make sure to subscribe to our channel below. For PJ, for Tate, for Nick, I'm Max. Have a great night.